Okay, I'm driving through Boston traffic a little bit after jiu-jitsu, going to BTT Boston, rolling, getting my rolls in, getting my training in, making sure I can win those championship matches, dominate. Okay, I think I just took a wrong turn, and I can't look at the GPS without taking it off of video recording. So this is perfect. Not going to stop recording the video, guys. This is very important. So stay tuned for what is important enough that I'm taking wrong turns while driving in order to record this video for you. So this video is about gratitude and standing on the shoulders of giants so that I can see further. These are the people who have influenced me the most. I've just been thinking about, I'm writing my book, I'm growing my business, growing my following, my YouTube channel, and I was just thinking about like how I come across and how I want to come across to the broader health community that's going to receive my videos and my content and my books and my ideas, and not even entirely my ideas, because like this is kind of the point, like these aren't entirely my ideas. Like the ideas are mine in the sense that I've practiced with them, I have mastered the ideas, I fully understand and embody the ideas I share, and that's really difficult and I think unique about the combination of ideas that I bring and embody. But if I turn the phone, I think it'll keep on. I think if I turn it this way, I don't know if it'll turn on the computer too. We'll see. I think it's pretty intelligent. It might. Yeah, I think it probably would. Where's my water bottle? This is my green tea bottle. Let's just chug some green tea. So I carry around green tea in a wine jug that I've taken the label off of because it's glass and it's classy. That's what I tell myself. But people have influenced me. So when I'm sharing ideas, like, I'm very insistent that my ideas are correct in the context in which that I insist that they're correct. Like, obviously, I'm not going to like insist that my ideas like nuclear fusion are correct, especially in contrast to like better ideas on nuclear fusion, because I don't really understand nuclear fusion. Like, I just don't. It's not, I guess some jiu-jitsu kisses. I was doing some gi jiu-jitsu. These abrasions on your neck that can look like hickeys, and I call them jiu-jitsu kisses. Got my gi right here, and but I'm definitely going the wrong way. So these people though, like Paul, I'll just start listing them and then I'll talk about them. This is in no particular order, this is the order they're coming to mind in, which is more to do about which ones I think about more frequently currently than even which ones I think about more frequently over time. So Paul Chek, mostly because Elliot Hulse recently made that video about Paul Chek's cult. They're like, Paul Chek is a cult leader and the greatest living health master. And then I made a response video that like 30 people have seen it, 60 people, I don't know, maybe people have seen it by now, maybe 100. Maybe by the time you see this, millions. But Paul Chek's video, like Elliot Hulse made a video about Paul Chek. Can go into my Zen place. This will be interesting. It'll be a mental exercise. You can watch me go through this. So I have to convey a complex idea in a coherent way to keep you informed and engaged while I navigate traffic and don't hit anyone. She'll go into my Zen center from where I grapple, and I shall do this task. So Paul Chek, Elliot Hulse, Christopher Walker, Ray Peat, the guys who wrote Strong Medicine, who's this osteopath, and then Marty Gallagher. Just that book is really good. I think about a lot of other books, mostly books that like Owen Cook's recommended me. He has a really good taste for health books. That's where I've gotten a lot of health recommendations. Starting when I was like 14, I've been watching Owen Cook's videos, and he's just recommended me a lot of good health books that have led me to ask the right questions. Tim Ferriss and The 4-Hour Body led me to ask a lot of the right questions, even though I never really followed Tim. I'm not a follower of Tim Ferriss's health advice. I think most of his health advice, like, he doesn't really give health advice. He's just a guy who like has, you know what I mean? Like he's just a dude. He tells people what he does, which is what he's amazing at that. But like, yeah, he's just amazing at giving people advice. There's a cop doing cop things. It's amazing at giving people advice, but he's like, he doesn't really have like a system. And in some sense, creating a system is really, I don't know that anyone has a system. Even Paul Chek, he doesn't really have a system. He more has like systems. Okay, there's Lawrence North up ahead, so I'm going to take that exit because that's where I go. So he doesn't really have a system. He has systems. I look really good in this. Like, sometimes I think about that, like making a video of myself, I'm just like looking, I'm like, dang, Devin, you look good in this lighting. Sometimes I look at myself, I'm like, I don't look that great in this lighting, but who cares? It's just all about whatever your goal is and how what you're doing serves that goal. Is it working out for you? Elliot Hulse, they see me like, that's another guy, great mentor of mine. Elliot Hulse, like, how's that working out for you is really the only question worth asking. I've come back to that so many times in my life. Pavel Tatsulin and his strength training advice has saved my body. Holy cow, he's saved me from a lot of stupidity. My daughter April taught me a lot about human movement. Watching her grow up, I learned just like so much about human movement. It was crazy. I studied cats and the movement of cats a lot. Fighters inspire me. George St. Pierre inspires me. Paul Chek really, his insistence on food quality above everything else, and then his introducing me to metabolic typing, and then his insistence on like movement quality above all else. I think those three things from Paul Chek I found the most helpful. And then he's just like a weird dude with a lot, but like in the best way. He's a genius polymath who I will listen to hours of him talk just to get ideas for stuff to think about. But he's like, I think of myself as a weird dude too. Like he's a weird dude. Like, let's call a spade a spade. Paul Chek is a weird fucking dude. He is. It's a very weird dude. I'm not going to get into it because it's not the point, but like, he's an awesome dude, but he's a weird dude too. Kind of like Alice in Wonderland, where it's like all the best people are crazy. Paul Chek. You and I think, are great people. Well, okay, so next left, Lawrence. I will find where I'm going eventually, or finish the video. I'll find where I'm going in the video or while driving. We'll see. So Elliot Hulse, though, like, I just love, like, his just, like, listen to your body, breathe into your balls. Like, his insistence on breathing. Hickson Gracie's, too. Like, I've had these trains of thought where I'm like, why am I so effed up right now? I don't know what to do. I think I should try breathing. Elliot Hulse says if I just breathe into my balls, it'll solve all my problems. And Hickson Gracie wrote a book about his life called Breathe. Like, the whole book title just literally says breathe. It's a photo of Hickson. I'm like, I think he wants people to breathe. Like, I think it's like important that I breathe. I think Christopher Walker said something about like increasing metabolism, and I remember that by just neurotically trying to increase my metabolism at all costs while sleeping more, I rehabilitated my testosterone function and my hormone function. Paul Chek said this thing about the 4 doctors, like Dr. Rest, and there's like the dreamer, who's Dr. Happy, and like when I meditate, I kind of like dream, and then I'm like breathing, which is like resting, so my HPA axis regulates itself. And like, it wasn't really Dr. Rest, it was Dr. Quiet, and Dr. Quiet aids in digestion through regulation of the HPA axis, because when my body's in rest and digest mode, because I'm breathing like Hickson and Elliot told me, nice and deep into my balls, like Elliot says, trying trains of thought and relaxing my face and musculature the way Zach Pontarello told me to in that meditation session I did with him ages ago. Well, I focus on relaxing the way I first did on mushrooms when I first had an intimation of what meditation would even be like in the Buddhist sense of sitting down and doing nothing. Because nothing needs to be done, because the natural wisdom within my body that Nietzsche talks about will come forth when I merely relax my neurotic musculature that Elliot talks about. When I breathe into my balls, and that'll regulate my HPA axis, allowing for greater secretion of HCl and digestive fluids that Dr. Berg and the people on YouTube talk about, so I can digest my food and break it down, and I don't end up with bile acid malabsorption and other problems related to the failure to break down fats in my small intestine, leading to bacterial overgrowth, preventing nutrient deficiencies that lead to hormonal insufficiencies and other deficiencies in neurotransmitters produced in the gut, preventing me from sleeping and preventing my body from optimizing its metabolism in order to harness greater energy flow, to clear out impurities from my blood, detoxing heavy metal. Like, it just goes on. Like, I just have these trains of thought when I breathe that come into through these people that I view as really, really, really amazing intuitive masters of health. Like, Paul Chek is an intuitive master of health. Elliot Hulse is an intuitive master of Elliot Hulsing in his own way. I don't really think he's quite a master of health, and I think he would agree, because he's calling Paul Chek his master of health. And like, I think Paul Chek's thing from like being in, I don't know, I've just taken his eating course, and like, he's a brilliant guy. I don't know, I'm not gonna get into like where I believe that I differ from Paul Chek in the video. Maybe I will, just in case any Checkyites come and try to like lynch me, because I just don't want to get lynched by any Checkites, you know what I mean, or like Hulseites or Pedians or any of these people, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause I like to learn from everyone. I appreciate everyone, but at the end of the day, I have my own thoughts about things that are based on the problems that I had to solve and the frameworks that I developed. And like, there's more than one way to build a cathedral. You can build a cathedral by okay, Lawrence is next left. Okay, so I'm gonna take the left to the interstate that'll lead me to Lawrence. So you can build a cathedral by constructing triangular scaffolding or square scaffolding. And maybe you build it with triangular scaffolding if you got a lot of triangles lying around from the previous guy who built a thing that needed triangles. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how it goes, because like, I solved problems in a particular order that I think had more to do with necessity and, I don't know, like the plans of the divine than anything else. I don't know, you know what I mean? Like there's interesting things that happen where I'm like, oh, that's so cool how this coincidence lined up with this coincidence, and like, it worked out this way the whole time. And there's other times where I'm like, wow, if I'd like realized that this had been the thing that had been benefiting me instead of this other thing, like, I don't know, like realizing the detox benefits of green tea instead of just consuming tea like a maniac for like the beginning of my life, and then stopping because I thought that cutting out caffeine would fix insomnia, and then having issues that came about that were totally different to the issues I had in the beginning of my life, because in some weird ways drinking tea was protecting me from those issues and I didn't realize it. That's a trippy, man. Like, that's really trippy stuff. So that's how my system was built. And I didn't start marketing insomnia solutions until I had 6 years of success without insomnia myself, and 3 years of success professionally coaching insomniacs. And I'm like, okay. And then 3 years before that of like non-professionally coaching insomniacs that led me to believe I could professionally coach insomniacs. So then I'm like, wow, I think I'm actually pretty good at this. And then I look around and I'm like, no one else seems like they're good at this. I'm like, I think I'm the only person who knows how to do this. Huh. Guess I'll like make it a part of my business then, instead of just teaching people how to do kettlebell swings. But anywho, So that's how I develop my mastery, and it's a mastery of beating insomnia. Like I call it idiopathic treatment-resistant insomnia. I just made that term up. It's not a medical term because I don't think it exists in any medical dictionary. At least I haven't read it in any medical dictionary. And it's just like insomnia that exists for reasons we don't understand, and it's resistant to all treatments. And that's what I'm good at fixing, provided it's not like, I mean, yeah, like it's just whatever. I don't know. Like, let's get it. If you're up for like more than 3 days at a time, like if you can stay up for like 48 hours, 72 hours at a time, this happens more frequently than once a month. It's not psychological. Like, that's just not how that stuff works. Unless, like, I don't know, like you have some, like, I don't know, like were you know, maybe you were part of like a pedophilic sex cult or something that, like, I don't know, like murdered babies every like third Sunday or whatever and made you bathe in their blood. Then I'm like, okay, like, you know, maybe you have PTSD bad enough, but unless it's something like that, then it's the PTSD compounding with other things in your body, leading to a total body stress load that is consistently greater than your body's ability to heal it, manifesting in the breakdown of your weakest link, which happens to be sleep. Or it could also be your gut. For me, it's sleep in the gut. The second I start overtaxing myself to the point where I can't recover, I just start diarrhea like a crazy person, multiple, just constantly, and then can't sleep. Like, I just stop sleeping, and it just stinks. And I've developed a bunch of protocols for getting myself out of that, because once I'm in it, it really stinks, because I just don't sleep, and because I can't sleep, I can't heal, and because I can't heal, my gut keeps getting worse, which prevents more nutrient absorption, leading to more SIBO, leading to more cortisol and insomnia. So it's just kind of this like cycle that people get caught in, these like cycles of insomnia. Like, insomnia leads to insomnia because if you don't sleep, your body loses the ability to sleep, because sleep is a function of a healthy body and sleep is necessary for a healthy body. So if you're not sleeping, then you can't sleep, and the HPA axis can't regulate itself, your circadian rhythm can't regulate itself, all this stuff. So like, this is the stuff that I taught myself that no one taught me, but people pointed me in these directions. But like, back to gratitude and like the things that, the people that helped me, like Christopher Walker's stuff. I was a Christopher Walkerite for like a while, and like a PDN for like a little while. I was like a PDN with like a Paul Chek twist, because I also threw in some rotation diet stuff and like a lot of other stuff in there that I think is really good. And I still use rotation diet principles, and like all these things are principles, but the only reason I say that I'm not a follower of anyone is simply because no one's material on planet Earth, and I've checked everyone who's published online in the last 20 years and before that. I mean, maybe if you publish something in the last 2 years on insomnia that hasn't helped anyone and no one's talking about it, then I might not have read it. But other than that, I've read everything, and no one can fix the insomnia. So I have developed a skill set that I believe to be demonstratively unique in the fact that it's the only skill set on planet Earth that can fix idiopathic treatment-resistant insomnia. So I just had to develop that. Like, it didn't exist before I did it, in the same way that, like, until, like, some dude built a boat, no one had any boats. Until the Wright brothers built a plane, no one had any planes. And until, like, I don't know, like, the internet, like, it's just, like, there's things that didn't exist and then were uniquely invented. Beating treatment-resistant idiopathic insomnia is a new thing that I did. Yay! I'm very happy I did that. I'm very proud of myself. It's kind of like the motivation to do that was really my motivation to not blow my brains out, because holy cow. Like, anyone who has treatment-resistant idiopathic insomnia knows that, because you're just up for like ever, and you can't ever sleep, and your body's dying, and you feel it dying, and it's never going to end, and you're just like, am I just going to stay alive until I die horribly from this thing that'll never end, while my mind fractures and everyone around me just looks on at my weak and crippled corpse, just going like, wow, wonder what happened to him. You know, he used to be such a cheerful guy, and then he kind of like stopped sleeping, but I don't know. I think he just liked caffeine too much. I think it was probably that. He just was on his phone too much. I was always telling him, get off his phone and to try meditating. He probably should have meditated and done some breathing exercises, or gone to the doctor and gotten the pills to fix it. Definitely didn't try any of that shit. It wasn't like he literally made his entire life trying to fix this stuff, Because whenever I tell anyone I had sleep problems, they'd just be like, yo, have you tried meditate? They would just tell me stuff that was on the first page of Google. And I'm like, Sharon, I know you're trying, sister, but like, I'm on like the 150th page of Google 10 years ago. And now I'm writing all the pages and I got 12 books out and there's still no answers. Like I've like already developed 12 other spheres of medicine and cured cancer, but I still can't fix this other problem. Like, I don't know if I've cured cancer. Maybe my frameworks cure cancer. I think cancer is metabolic to a very large degree. And I think that while there are largely exceptional cases, and Western medicine tends to focus on the exception rather than the rule, namely why they don't focus on diet. Like my proof that Western medicine focuses only on the exception and not on the rule. And just in every case, like, okay, like, you go to the, like, what's the thing you do the most every day? Breathing, walking, eating, drinking water, you know, thinking about your future, stressing out, not stressing out, thinking about your relationships, drinking water, not drinking water, breathing shallowly, not breathing shallowly, like holding your posture in a contracted or expanded way. All the stuff that the doctor never talks to you about. God bless them, but they just, like, for the most part, they don't ever talk to you about that stuff. And I know because I ask people. Like, there are good doctors out there, obviously, that, like, aren't like this and, like, ask you good questions and are holistically minded. There are lots of MDs out there who are very holistically minded. And there are lots of Western practitioners out there who are holistically minded. But it's Western practitioners who are holistically minded who are the exception. Like, there's a reason I say that there are Western practitioners who are holistically minded, because it's special. It's like most aren't even a little bit at all. Like 0%. Like, you talk to them about diet at all, they have no idea. They know like first page of Google stuff. And it's like, if you can't speak to at least 5 years of experience taking yourself through at least 6 different, like almost completely different diets and lifestyles, health-wise, not like gay lifestyles or whatever, but like just lifestyles health-wise. And I just say that because like people will be like, what do you mean lifestyles? Like, I just mean like health lifestyles. Like, you mean like try training a certain way, then try training a different way. Try eating this way and try eating it. You know what I mean? Like, try different things so you have perspective. Don't just like eat the way your parents taught you to, never varying that really at all, except like by the smallest margin, and then just like think you know anything about nutrition, because you just don't at all. And it's not an attack on you, but like, if you've never taken the time to experiment with nutritional systems, how on God's green earth would you know anything about nutrition? That's like me, literally, this is like me driving a car that I just bought from someone. Like, my parents just gave me this car. Literally, this car I'm driving, my parents just gave it to me. They just gave me this car. Like, Devin, here's a car. We love you. Like, we're awesome parents to support your dreams. You need a car to get your dreams. Go chase your dreams, son. Here's a car. It's the American dream. You know, I don't know. So, like, it's like me just having this car, and then, like, anytime there's something a little bit wrong with it, I take it in the mechanic, and I think I know something about cars because my car drives. This is like what I experienced for most of my insomnia time. I'm kind of turning this thing on gratitude into an insomnia thing. So I'm gonna bring us back around to gratitude in a second and like really talk about like specific things that people have said that have influenced me really deeply, because that's really important. Like, that's what this video is about. But I want to like tie this all around because it's really like, you guys like my long form videos. Like, I make these long form videos and you guys love them, so I'm just gonna keep making them. And I like to like let you guys see my thought process, because like, I'm in traffic, I found my way, I am going the right way, I'm going north, I found that stuff. I've relaxed, I'm in the zone, you can see I'm flowing, I'm in my state. I'm not questioning where the spirit is taking me, you know, like, let's see where I go with this conversational dialogue I'm having with this camera, who is you. Camera is representational of you. I'm really talking to you, because I have feedback from you guys in ways. And it's about like people. Like, I make these videos because people have commented that they have helped them. So if these videos have helped you, like, tell me how I've helped you. I'll make more videos like that, because like, that's why I do it. Like, the reason I make YouTube videos I stopped making YouTube videos for a while. Go look back. There's huge gaps in like when I make videos. And the reason there's gaps is because I just stopped making them because I was like, hey, whatever, I'm just going to do something else. And then like I just got tons of comments. People were like, oh my God, you saved my life. This is so helpful. Well, if I could change the world for the better, like, I don't know, like I'm a delusional ideologue. Like, I don't know, like I just, not ideologue, but like, I don't know, idiopath, ideological idiopath. I have my own ideology and I'm ideologically following it. That's what I mean. So I'm just kind of like going on this path. I know not where, but like I have my beliefs and convictions and onward. And like people are like, you're helping us. I'm like, okay, I'll make more videos. That's fun. So I'm also selfish, and that's an indication that there's money to be made in this field and that I resonate with an audience. So there's an intense pragmatism to this, and if you're a pragmatically minded person, then hit me up. I'm always hiring for very, very intelligent, motivated people who are qualified and like know their stuff. Like I only taken on one other person in Week to Warrior. One other person. I've only ever considered hiring one other person in this company. And it's my younger brother, and he's got 8 years of engineering experience and was previously working as a freelance contract, not being a freelance per se. I think he was hired on, but he was like a contractor doing completely unsupervised 3D printing designs for a Fortune 100 pharmaceutical company. And he got that job just by talking to some higher up, and just like the dude was just like, holy, you're intelligent. Holy, you're intelligent. Let's hire you, and you can just 3D print random parts for us that we just happen to need in these complicated manufacture of like enzyme structures that no one understands that are used to treat cancer and stuff. So he was doing that, and then I recruited him to Week to Warrior from there to help me design products. He's already designed me a meditation store we're selling, and help me with implementation of stuff because there's simply too much back-end stuff and software stuff for me to do because I'm just focused on, like, I'm focusing on quality for you guys. So I need someone to be like, yo, can you like handle the software things while I make videos and courses and teach people stuff? And he's like, I gotcha. And he figures out that stuff. And then he also, his payout from it is he gets a lot of money, and then he also gets to design whatever the heck he wants, and then we just sell it. So it's fun. So you're someone like that who's willing to, like a Belgian draft horse, work his face off to make our vision for the future. Like if you share my vision first, you share the vision for Week to Warrior, and you're like, hit me up. And you want to work to make that vision happen. What is that vision? I'll tell you quickly before I get back into the whole thing about gratitude. Basically, I just like, it's hard to be really healthy and high performing because I didn't start off life the healthiest. Like I have like a lot of strength, and I have a lot of intelligence, and I have a lot of willpower, but I don't innately have a lot of energy. Like I'm kind of like innately a tired person who's lazy. Like I just kind of want to like sit around and read and not move. Like that's just like what I want to do. And I did that for like most of the first half of my life. So I learned a lot of stuff. And then one of the things I learned was that you have to like move around and do things and like live your life and not just read books all day in order to be a complete human being who has a perspective on life that matters. So I then devoted the next 10 years of my life to actually doing things. So I still read a lot of books and was tired and lazy, but like I did some stuff, so it was fun. And I learned some things from doing the stuff. And just picking up here. And where am I going with like learning the things from doing the stuff and reading the books and having the fun, taking the adventure and driving the car and all the stuff? Where am I going with it? Let's go back to gratitude, I guess. If I lose my train of thought, it's probably an indication I should just go back to being grateful for where I am and who got me here and how I got here. So, first of all, my parents, my dad, for teaching me inherent skepticism to everything. He taught me how to think, so anything I really accomplish after, I don't know, learning how to think, I would credit my dad with. Because he just taught me how to think and how to, like, always question things and never, like, accept that someone is right simply because, or right on everything, or more right than you can be, or more right than you can be now and forever. maybe they're more right than you can be right now, but it doesn't mean they're more right than you can be in the future. And you can work very hard, you can read a lot of books, you can expose yourself to great ideas, you can like receive criticism. My dad always be very big about the ability to receive criticism and be coachable. And you can do that, and then you can have the most right ideas. And my dad has just instilled in me that through work and self-confidence, and by focusing on the critical examination of ideas through long periods of intense thought and making lists and then analyzing the lists and then writing things down and reading what you wrote aloud to see if it makes sense, you can discern truth. And also, like, my grandfather really encouraged me to write stuff down. Let's just like make this a whole thing on like all the people I'm grateful for. Just keep this gratitude train of thought going. I'm driving on roads right now. I didn't make these roads. Thank God there are roads that people can deliver goods to me on, so I can like eat my steak and be healthy and have a high metabolism that allows my brain to work properly, so I can have good ideas and make a business that'll help people, so I can live in a better world full of good stuff rather than people all becoming depressed, sick people with low metabolisms who are resentful and on drugs and want to kill me in a lynch mob because I'm different. We need a culture with a high metabolism where people are prosperous to tolerate difference. And I feel like I'm kind of different and like an outsider, so I need to create a prosperous society so I'm not lynched a little bit. Maybe this is just the fact that I was bullied when I was younger talking or whatever, but it's like I'm like simultaneously, back to the vision of the future, I will create a world that is very prosperous where I am intensely powerful. So I'm going to have a group of people around me who are all very, very healthy, who love me because I've built great things for them and helped them out and been honest to them and like good to them. So they all love me. That's like the first part of my vision for the future, is I have people around me who love me because I've like been good to them and they're good to me, and like we love each other, we communicate, and like we have a shared vision for the future. And then on top of that, everyone around me who I love, who loves me, is like doing really well. We're all super healthy with high metabolism, so our brains work. The reason I'm talking so fluently right now is I just came from jiu-jitsu, so my metabolism spikes, my brain's just flying. And the green tea helps too. It's a nootropic. It's one of my favorite nootropics. Probably my favorite nootropic on. God, yeah, if I go give me one nootropic, give me green tea. Give me one drug, green tea. Green tea is my drug of choice now and forever, and at the ages of ages. It's got health benefits, it's a stimulant. Give me green tea, I can do anything. I mean, I still like other access to other things to use, but like green tea, probably change my opinion on that later, but green tea. Okay, so back to my vision for the future. We all have like, we're all super healthy, so we all have to be fairly wealthy in order to afford the food that makes us healthy so we can have the high metabolisms for the brain function. So then we all also have the ability to like use our creative potential to design cool things that we want, which, at least for me, I feel like this is the only way I was going to be able to do that, was to build this company. So I built it. Well, no, I mean, there's other ways, but like with my health issues and stuff, this is the only way. And then like my brother's like, well, I can do this will help me, because like I can now start marketing the stuff that I buy, and like I can make more money, have more career advancement, and I also have more time. This is the other thing. He can work in a way. This is the thing, like through Week to Warrior, I'm providing these things for people in increasing quantities. So like my brother can make his own lifestyle. He's like just traveling Europe right now, training jiu-jitsu at BJJ Globetrotters camp, and just training jiu-jitsu. He's in Poland, been like traveling around like a whole bunch, just like doing cool stuff. And he can do that because he works for me. Or no, wait, he always we joke around about that. I'll be like, you work for me. He's like, ha ha ha, you work for me. Because like, I mean, kind of do. I mean, I like spent like my whole life's blood designing all of this stuff, and now he just gets to jump on board and profit off of my monopoly. Literally like designed a completely novel solution that's never been done in the history of mankind through my sleep product protocols and systems, and he just gets to come out and profit from that, which is cool for him. I've already even shown them I can sell it too. I had to do that for years, and now he just jumps on after I've already proven a profitable business model. I'm not resentful though, because he's also a genius who has his own skill set that he's taken his lifetime to develop. And that's why we're kind of like Belgian draft horses, constantly trying to prove who's the bigger genius by who can contribute the most to the company, which is the best arrangement. So, things I'm grateful for. So, this video is going on. I like it, but I want to tie it up so it's a nice watchable length for you guys. I think it's a good time. Just getting that feeling, that intuition that we should all tap into. That's the time to wrap the video up. So specific things that I've implemented that are insanely helpful that I've taken from my digital mentors. I've never had a direct mentor in the health space. It's very much like, so I read the book Mastery. Here's another one, Robert Greene. I stole this from him. Robert Greene, I read your book when I was 14, Mastery. I read 48 Laws of Power because I was a power-hungry person. And I wanted power, and I was like, I recognized that I can obtain power through reading. Knowledge is power. I desire power. Power is useful. Those who don't have power suffer for their lack of power, Friedrich Nietzsche. So I desired power, and I read the 48 Laws of Power, and then I realized mastery was a form of power, so I set about trying to gain mastery over chemistry. But then I realized I had so many health problems that I was just going to have to gain mastery over health, and specifically insomnia, and like hormonal stuff, because the hormones and the digestive system relate most closely to the insomnia. So I just started doing that, Robert Greene style, using his Edison framework. And literally just, I still read that book. I still like carry it around with me. It's in the back of the car right now. Because it's just a guidebook that I literally use verbatim to plan my mastery out, because like, it's a great thing. I just stole it. The Four Doctors, Paul Chek's Four Doctors. That I don't think it's necessarily his entirely, because I've read books from like 1880 where they talk about the Four Doctors, so maybe it's just been in the collective unconscious. Stole that from Carl Jung. Because I have read old books that have the Four Doctors in them, that are older than Paul Chek and older than me, but not from ancient Rome. So, it's not a Paul Chek original, but like, who knows? Perhaps that book would never have surfaced without Paul Chek talking about it. So he probably rediscovered it and brought it back to the forefront of the cultural unconscious, which allowed that book to come back. And I really give him credit for that, because like, I've never seen anyone else talking about it. And maybe I'll be able to find that book from like 1880, but like, I don't know if I will be. I mean, maybe, who knows? It's out there though. You're the man making this spurious claim, and Paul Chek's gonna be like, but like, he deserves credit for it. Like, I think he deserves credit for bringing it back, though I don't think that he's the first. It's just too good of an idea, and I think that there's other truths that I've built off of his idea. I say his idea because I got it from him, and no one else is talking about it. No one else told me about it until I heard about it from him, and then years later, after I'd already thought about it so much, like my eyes bled, and designed systems on it, and started writing my book with that built into the systems, in a transcended way. I don't think it's the only thing, but like the Epidemic idea of metabolism, I've just taken that too. Just took it. His idea of like higher metabolism is good. I mean, I've combined that with other ideas of gut and of nutrient absorption, and I've combined that with the feedback systems that I literally just took from strong medicine. I mean, I've been thinking about these ideas. This is how I've worked with this stuff. Like, there's these like, it's like there's these like fish in the water, these big fish in the water, and I feel them moving within the currents around me. I feel the currents off their scaly bodies, and it's dark, and I can't see them, and I feel these different shapes and bodies moving around me. And like, Paul Chek and these guys describe the fish to me. Like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, maybe some of the fish are the same fish in its different parts. Maybe like there's more fish than they say. There's like different, like, I'm encountering some other fish, but like, they fucking nailed some fish for me. And like, okay, these fish are in the waters of the insomnia hormone gut pool. So I've just incorporated those systems into a broader system that's really like, so I'm writing this book called The God Engine. Oh, I love the name, and it inspires me. It makes me happy. It makes me inspired deep down. And I prayed about the book. I think I should be kind of humble at the book. I mean, really what this book is what it takes to sleep. That's what this book is about. This book is about how to sleep. How to cut the nuts off the insomnia demon, shove him in his mouth, stick his head on a spike and tell him, now motherfucker, I own you. It's mastery of the systems that lead to sleep. At least the best that I can teach it at this moment in a book format. And I came to this idea by just praying. I was drawing out web networks of ideas, trying to connect the ideas. into this web that would unify, because it's like one thing. Like when I'm trying to sleep, there's like this thing I'm trying to do. I don't know, like I couldn't put a finger on it or a word on it, but it's like, this actually is the perfect segue, because this is like everything. Like they gave me all the pieces. They gave me all these geniuses, these brilliant, beautiful angels from God, who should be portrayed as saints in churches for all time for the beautiful gifts that they have given, if just me alone, through the work that they did to spread these ideas, that I may find them and then use them to heal myself so that my life can have triumph in it and not simply suffering and tragedy, and that your lives, if you're profiting from this, can have triumph and not just suffering and tragedy, so that everyone who encounters my ideas, who doesn't die, who's inspired, who doesn't succumb to whatever demons they're fighting, be they insomnia or cancer or heart disease or whatever, addiction, whatever it is, gut problems, dysbiosis, SIBO, hormonal insufficiency issues, low testosterone, erectile dysfunction, all these things I've suffered from. Not the heart disease, but like other stuff. And the cancer, like all that, you're suffering from that, and like I can give you anything, then that's partially owed to these people. That's like owed to them. Like they pushed me on. In the same way that like, even like I've talked to homeless people, like, I don't know, like just days I've been down, I just like to talk to people sometimes. I talk to people who I rationalize are doing worse than me, and I'm giving them my time. And sometimes they say something to me or give me a look of courage, a look of encouragement, and I look at them and like so here's the thing. So this is where ego and humility play into themselves in a really profound way. I'm letting you guys into my deep, deep thoughts, so don't judge me. Judge me if you want, but I'll just delete your comments and whatever. I don't know. Seek this in yourself before you judge me, or you will trample the pearls I cast before you like the swine you are. That's what I say to you. Now I'll tell you the wisdom. So, I think very highly of myself. I think like really highly of myself. I have a huge ego. Like I'm an egomaniac in many, many ways. I just have a huge, huge ego. Like I think that I'm like not the greatest thing since sliced bread, because like there are a lot of cool things. Like Jordan Burroughs is really awesome. Gordon Ryan. Like I don't know. In any field, I compare myself to who I consider to be the greatest of all time or the greatest of their era. Just all I do. It's automatic. It's just the way I think. I've just, be it automatic or be it trained even, I have unapologetically trained myself to only, like, when I think about history, I compare myself and my individual life experience and thoughts on a moment-to-moment basis to what I imagine Napoleon would have been thinking when he planned his campaigns. Automatically, I just do. Like Musa, when I'm training jiu-jitsu, what would Musashi do? That's all I do. It's just like, you know, like why? Because why would you do anything else? Like, why would, like, given that I'm a human being who has the free will to model myself off of anyone that I can imagine or know of, why would I not model myself only after the greatest people of history? I've read so many books. Like I said, I just like to be lazy and read as a kid because it's entertaining. And I just read so much that I realized that reading was the way to power. And then I read more because I wanted power, and I was kind of like, just like, power. And then I realized that, like, eventually it led me to humility. I mean, eventually in seeking out the greatest power ever, I was led to Christ. I'm like, wow, God crucified himself for us. Like, he allowed himself to be crucified for us because he loves us, because love is the greatest force in the world, which creates everything. And through God, who is love represented by Christ, God created the world. And that's revealed through the Word, who is Christ, revealed through the incarnation. Like, it's just this whole, like, I saw and understood the revelation of God through my pursuit of power. Because all roads lead to the truth, which leads to Christ, who is the truth. So it's like in this weird sense that you have to accept your own freaking crucifixion. Like, I was like, again, like my own narcissistic ego. It's not entirely narcissistic, because I can admit that I'm like it's not narcissistic, because I won't resort to deceit and manipulation to defend myself, because probably because I don't need to. I don't know. I think all organisms probably will if they're pushed enough, which again plays into my vision for the future. I believe that the future, I want a future for those I love where they're not ever pushed to the point where they feel like they have to become someone they don't want to be. because that's horrible. Like that, I want to enable those I love to be who they are, because love is that which enables choice, which allows the image of God to most purely come out in us, because the image of God is love and we're made in the image of God. So I don't need to subjugate or allow those I love to be subject to suffering, because in some sense, while Nietzsche is right that suffering is one of the things that produces the willingness to suffer, the willingness to accept suffering despite not wanting to suffer, but understanding that there can be suffering for a greater purpose and finding that greater purpose within the suffering, and then coming back through the suffering to deliver that purpose as a gift to all those who are still suffering with what you have transcended. That's the only meaning of life. And I'm not particularly enlightened. I'm just a very, very selfish person who was maniacally focused on power, who through insomnia and pain and continuing to seek knowledge and power, and more insomnia and pain, and continuing to seek knowledge and power, and more insomnia and pain, and bullying, and like feeling rejected, and feeling depressed, and more health issues, and more desire for power, and anger, and rage because of my suffering, and because of my powerlessness to stop the suffering, and more rage, and more desire for power because I just wanted power, because I need to stop this suffering because no one else can help me with this suffering. So I need the power to stop this. And I will develop the mastery to develop the power to stop the suffering. Like just that. And then being like, no, like I can't allow the suffering to make me less than others because all these other people around me dominating in sports. I need to dominate in sports. I need to be good socially. I need to, despite my insomnia, despite probably being mildly socially autistic, or at least unable to perceive social cues for whatever reason at the age of 12 or 13, all these things, like, despite, I will just push myself to the point of almost madness at points in time, to just, like, maybe madness, probably past madness, like 7 times over, multiple times, just because, like, my insane ego will not allow me. It's also love. Like, I really love my parents and family and like younger siblings and stuff. So I'm like, if I become a piece of shit, they'll just be pieces of shit. And just this ego of like, I will be, like, just I will be. And it's kind of like I associate the Nietzschean will with God. Because for me, the Nietzschean will, the I will, and the love of God that creates beautiful things and life itself are the same thing. And you just simply have to suffer until everything but that is stripped away. And you realize that that's all you ever had to hang on to. And you just fully embrace the will, the love that is God, that creates everything, through everything, can transcend even death. And like I said, I'm not particularly enlightened. I just think that I had this weird ego that just made me hang on long enough to the point where I stuck with the problem enough to fix it. And then I had this other, like, it was like, I don't know, just my ego kept me from like becoming a drug addict long enough to like only become like a weed addict. So when I had insomnia, I was at least clear-minded enough from only being completely stoned on weed that I could have clear enough thoughts to meditate. I also can't overdose on weed. Probably just people like, the other thing I realized, I think, is that most people who have really bad insomnia probably just overdose on drugs, because like, that's why I was like, you just overdose. Like, I mean, like, if I thought that there was like, if while on drugs that decrease inhibition, I thought that there was a chance that more of the drugs would give me the ability to sleep, and I was in a state where I couldn't sleep from drugs, and I've tried, I would just die from taking too many drugs.